Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back as always to another Deadlock video where today I got some items for you that I think people have just been completely overlooking. Well, maybe not completely overlooking, but are certainly more useful than they might think. So let's jump into it with some items that can help you win your games right now. So the first item on our list today is Diviner's Kevlar. Let's look at our stats. So our passive, you are getting 20% Spirit Lifesteal and 12% cooldown reduction, and upon casting an ultimate ability, gain 700 Bullet Shield, 700 Spirit Shield, and 40 Spirit Power. So this is extremely good for heroes that are going to have to expose themselves or dive into the enemy for when they want to use their ult, because they're going to be taking a lot of fire, and that Spirit and Bullet resist is going to help you quite a bit. So Moen, Infernus, Abrams, Wraith, and characters like that where you need to dive into the enemy. Keep an eye out for Diviner's Kevlar if you have the opportunity to buy it. I think it's well worth your time. Next up, you got Ricochet. Our stats for this one, you've got 35% ammo increase and a 10% fire rate increase as well. 150 bonus health getting added on, and your bullets will ricochet onto 2 enemies near your target, applying any bullet procs and dealing 60% of the original damage. So I think that this is one that's underrated despite how much it actually does get used, and the reason that is because I don't think people fully realize its use in jungling and farming waves. I use this item in my Wraith build pretty frequently, and I see people talk about Tesla bullets a lot, but in my eyes, it's much more effective to be using Ricochet. It's much faster, and you're doing much more damage with Ricochet. It's another thing that if I get a lot of souls early, I'm able to get Ricochet early. I can then start clearing tier 3 jungle camps early, which is super duper useful to be able to clear those solo really early on. We did just talk about Tesla bullets, and I think that's still worth adding on if you've got the space for it, but the one thing that I think is really worth it, especially for one specific hero, is toxic bullets. Toxic bullets are incredibly useful in combination with Ricochet, and even more so if you've got Infernus using his Afterburn, because the toxic bullets spread to the targets being hit by Ricochet. Alongside with that Afterburn, Infernus can become a really oppressive lifestealer because he can do so much damage to you, and then hit the Afterburn and run away, and he's done a lot of damage without you even being able to see him. So next on the list, we got Mystic Burst. For our stats, we got 40 Spirit Shield health being added to your pool and 6% weapon damage. On top of that, your abilities are going to deal 35 bonus spirit damage if they deal 80 or more damage in a single hit. Keep in mind, this does have a recharge every 6.2 seconds, but that does mean that there are going to be certain abilities that they are very useful on. Things like Wraith's cards or Vindicta's ultimate. Kelvin's Grenade and Viscous Ball, those charge abilities where you're recharging them. This is going to be very useful to get that extra little bit of damage, especially early on in the lane phase where 35 HP can be a lot. Next, we got Divine Barrier, and this is an active ability, meaning that you do actually have to hit a separate key to activate it. It's not a passive one, and don't overlook these because you need to do something a little bit extra, because these are some of the best abilities in the game, the active ones. So for your stats for Divine Barrier, you're going to get extra 8% ability range, an extra 50 bonus health, and 1 meter per second sprint speed, all passively, so without having to activate the ability, you're still going to get those bonuses. When you do activate it, for example, for me, it's usually the Z key, you're going to provide the target with 260 bullet shield, 260 sprint shield, and 2 meters per second move speed. And while it can be used on teammates, I find it is much better to self-cast it, because this makes it really easy to escape in the lane phase, and you can really easily frustrate your opponents if you often present yourself as an easy target, and then you have this get out of jail free card in your back pocket. I know I, for one, have become very, very frustrated by a Dynamo who runs away every time I get him to 200 HP. Speaking of frustrating your enemies, the next one is Metal Skin. This is another active ability that focuses on keeping you alive. This one, you're going to get 125 bonus health, 8 spirit power, and 8% fire rate increase, all passively. That's, again, without actually having to activate your ability. That's just going on in the background the same way it does with any other card. And for that active ability, you are going to be getting 3.85 seconds of immunity to bullets and melee attacks. And this is the ultimate Wraith and Haze shutdown lane. If there is a super fed superhero Wraith or Haze in your lobby, this is the ultimate counter. This is going to give you 3.85 seconds of standing in Haze's ult or Wraith not being able to damage you while she has you lifted in hers, and it is a super simple, complete counter to those heroes. Next up, we got Knockdown. This one's active again. Let's look at our passive stats first. We're going to get 1 extra stamina bar, 200 spirit shield health, 6 spirit power, and then for the active portion, the target is knocked down and stunned after a 2-second delay, interrupting and temporarily preventing them from taking any action. That stun's going to last for a little bit less than a second at 0.99 seconds, and you're going to have a 45-meter cast range on this. And this is another simple counter for characters like Vindicta or Seven who are up in the air using really difficult abilities to counter, and it's just as simple as that. Point, knock down, the end. Speaking of simple ones, let's keep it moving on to Basic Magazine. This is one that I think is really, really good and people overlook it completely. You're going to get 26% more ammo and 15% increase to weapon damage. But really, because you're getting the 6% from the tier 1 weapon card, you're actually getting 21% in total. And this is a really overlooked one because of just how straightforward it is. But it's simply one of the best items in tier 1, probably over all these categories. It's great for almost any hero, but heroes with lower bullet velocity, you might want to go for high velocity mag instead if you're a Warden or a Vindicta player to be able to get those denies a little bit easier. But people, Wraith, Haze, you guys might want to be looking at Basic Mag. Next up, one of the most satisfying ones, Debuff Remover. This is another active one with some great passive abilities, and you are going to get 125 bonus health and 20% weapon damage passively, and it is also going to reduce the duration of all negative effects applied and gives a 35% debuff resist. Crispy. Got me feeling nicey, as John Gruden would say. Actively purge all negative effects currently applied to you. So as soon as you press that Z or whatever your keybind key is, any effects get removed. And if any of them are, you gain a movement speed bonus, which this also cannot be used while you're stunned or slapped. Meaning that if Seven's already got you on the ground or Wraith has you lifted up in the air with her ultimate ability, you will not be able to use this by then. It's too late. Going back, that movement speed bonus, you are going to get a 3 meter per second movement speed boost for 3.3 seconds. This one, straight up hard Bebop counter. Use it to remove any debuff, but this is mainly something to make Bebop players angry. This one is going to ruin their day more than a few times throughout their Deadlock career. And finally, we got Magic Carpet. Here's another active ability with some great passive stats. We got 10% ability duration, 15 plus spirit power, and 150 plus bonus health. And the active part of this is you're going to summon a Magic Carpet that will fly you away and gain 400 bullet and spirit shields when you do. You're not going to be able to use abilities while the carpet's being summoned. There's a little short summon time, and then while you're flying, you're immune to slows, and doing any actions is going to dismiss the carpet. So once the carpet actually gets summoned, it's going to take about 1.5 seconds to actually summon. You'll have 7.7 seconds of fly duration, moving 6 meters per second faster than whatever your hero's movement speed is. And then after that, once you actually land on the ground, you're going to have that shield duration for a whole 10 seconds once you actually land, for a total of 17.6. And this, guys, is the best luxury item in the game. It allows for nearly instant rotations, and you can escape almost any type of fight on this Magic Carpet. Not to mention, I do think that this is just a really funny item. There aren't a whole lot. I think that this is the only, the most kind of out of nowhere item in the game. You see someone using this for the first time, you don't know it's in the game, and it's just kind of surprising. It's one of those, oh, I didn't know you could do. Okay, this game lets you do a lot. So I think this one's a lot of fun and just absurdly useful. My buddy who's a 7 main loves using it all the time. That's all I got for you this time. I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video and the past couple of Deadlock videos. It is really awesome for me to see the reception that those got, and I thank you so much for that. That really has just, know that it's made me happy walking around the world the past couple of weeks. It's thank you so much. And if you enjoyed, I really hope you do like, comment, and subscribe so that these videos do keep showing up in your feed, because I am not going to stop making them. I am committed to this for the long haul, and this train is going to keep on chugging. So if you want to join that ride, make sure you hop on with a subscription, and I will see you again next weekend on the other side of another week. So have a great week. Let's get after it, and I will see you again on Sunday. Peace.